Yeah, but I don't know too much about taping, but you're taping,
Yes, correct, sir.
so all
He
minutes.
can tape.
I know he can tape.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
All right, thank you, sir.
Neither do I.
But what we're gonna have to do tonight is to decide what strategy we're gonna do. Be aggressive with the small line items like the foresters, 1, 2, 3 items. And that is level funded.
I don't think that we have to be concerned with people that have just a few items on their list. The thing I would like to bring up before we start going through here is that these people are putting in their budgets, and if we agree with them, okay, and then later on that they have to make some adjustments with them, remember, we're the ones that kind of, so to speak, even though they've increased or decreased their budgets, we kind of agreed to it. So we're kind of on the hook with them, so to speak, as far as the budget is concerned. I'd just like to bring that up, because sometimes for a small dollar amount or something like that, they say, well, you can't really do it, but on some of the things you have to use common sense. I understand that the town has voted for the stuff, and they should be the one to do it. For big dollars, I would probably say yes, but for small pissy ass amounts, I would say no. With that,
I don't understand what you're saying.
well, what I'm saying is, like, last year, we had police that worked some overtime, and whenever, I think at that time Sue was still there, and I was kind of the person there, and I kind of said if the person worked the overtime, because people were sick and stuff like that, that they should get paid, and I was kind of beat down on the thing, and whenever Sue come back, you guys agreed to it. But what I'm saying is if there's small amounts like that, I wouldn't worry too much about it, and if the guy worked, he should get paid for it. Okay, that's all I have to say on that.
Well, basically, the chief submits the budgets, and through my past experience, he has a lot of fluff in his budget through the years.
Well, apparently he did.
Because every line item there has fluff in it.
I'm sure it does, and if I was making up one of these budgets, I'd have some fluff in it too, so I wouldn't have to come back to you people on the finance committee saying, you know, why the heck did you do that? I've worked in accounting for over 50 years, and whenever I made up stuff like that, I did put fluff in it. So I mean, just so I could
Wiggle room.
huh?
Wiggle room.
Yes.
But I don't think that means that a department shouldn't have to account for their decision making.
No, I'm not saying that. They should come in and talk about it, and at the time, the police chief did not come in and talk about it.
Right.
But what he should have done is sent a representative. If you look at the FinCom stuff for rats and stuff like that, either the head of the department or somebody in that department, if the head of the department is not there, should send somebody in to talk about it. We've been kind of lax with that in the past, and I think that the thing that we should do is adhere to it, to have somebody come in and explain it to us. If they're not here, defer it until the next meeting.
Well, basically, That is our number one rule through the years past.
No, I know it has been, but we've been the last on it too, Kenny.
I agree to some extent.
Okay. With that, I think am I off my soapbox? I hope so.
Well, to that point, I just want to let you know, I got an email from the director of the senior center saying that she was going to need some funding for some unforeseen expenditure. And I sent her an email back saying that we needed to have something in writing and she needed to present it to the board and give us a date when she could be here. I don't know whether it was a RAT or an account transfer or what it was for, but she said she was going to need extra funding. Dave Delansky alluded to the fact that it had something to do with salary. So a RAT isn't going to be able to cover a salary increase or decrease. That's not an emergency expenditure. That's a budgetary item.
Yeah, but that's an unforeseeable expense.
Well,
Not if it's.
It doesn't have to be emergency, it's unforeseeable expense. You can go by the fact that whoever retired, they retained them for training purposes, which is probably what has transpired.
I think that's what they alluded to the last time.
You could cover that with a transfer.
Now, if that,
I believe that.
Okay.
if that's
Because
for-
that is unforeseeable because you didn't know that that individual was gonna retire. Maybe we should have known, but we as a finance weren't notified of such, so that would be my position, and I think we would be right on that.
We have to know what the transfer is for before we can say anything.
Exactly.
So it has to be.
I understand through my wife that they're underfunded with the bus, medical bus. And they would need some more. That can be done by reserve account transfer. If their budget runs out, if they use it more than anticipated, that's one of those unforeseeable items. It's just like the ambulance. We give them a budget. Through the year, they may have 560 calls, and we plan on 400 calls, and then they're gonna run out of money.
That's not how it was explained to me.
No,
So
I'm just saying that's, you
if
know.
we're gonna change policy, then we'll change policy, but that's not how it was explained to me, how that account is to be used.
Well, I don't know which one you're talking about now, but that's all right. What account are we?
If we have a reserve.
A line
account-
item,
If a line item wants to be transferred, that's one thing, that's not what I'm talking about.
no, I'm not talking about line item transfers, I'm totally against them, so. Because they have a special town meeting to do that. But they chose to go the other way, but that's my vote, that's my opinion, I'll say to it till the day I leave here. But getting back to reserve account transfers, if their budget, they can't deficit spend, number one. And if the bus, say the bus, medical bus, is running out of money or ran out of money to pay to operate the bus and the bus driver, that's unforeseeable, because we expect X number of dollars to handle that. But we could be short or we could be over. Most of the time, we underfund most of these line items as such. You know what I'm getting at? In other words, you can transfer, give them a reserve account there. But if they so chose in the spring, in May and June, that they have enough money in the other, another fund that they don't anticipate using, they could take that and make that 5% transfer to that line
But then
item.
everybody would then abuse that privilege, because then they'd all come to us for rats and then at the end of the year transfer their money the way they want. That doesn't seem quite right.
that's where we have to watch what they do. But usually these small budgets, there's not enough fluff in their budgets to do that.
Well, that's an item we obviously have to look at, and when they come
We've
in
been,
with their
we've been
new.
level funding for the last 10 years. Things have changed. I mean,
Well, but that's why we are here to be able to make that recommendation to the
That's why we have
town
to
and
keep
to
it-
say, you know, they now need this because these expenditures have gone up 20%, let's say.
yeah,
So now we need to be able to account for that.
yeah, and then
And we put it on the floor.
then they should come before us and request that amount.
Right, that's exactly right.
And then let the townspeople vote on it, whether they want to support that line item or not, when they go through the budgets.
Okay.
Barry, you say the aging sent you an email in regard to that they need more funds?
Right,
What year is that for? Is that for FY16
right now.
right now?
Yeah.
Then it should be in their increase in their budget and not a rat.
Yeah, but that's fine.
No, she's saying she needs it to operate now. She needs a transfer now to be able to operate, so I asked her if she would just give us an itemized account of what she needs it for, and to come to one of our meetings to explain it so that we know what she needs it for.
Well, what I'll probably have to do is go upstairs to the files and get the reserve account transfer requests. They gotta be upstairs, I don't know where they are. You know what I'm saying?
To date, we
You gotta
haven't-
have three, you
Well,
gotta
we
have,
haven't approved a rat yet this year.
no, but they gotta approve, request on official
That's
request.
what I'm saying, then that hasn't happened yet, because she
Because
doesn't.
they probably don't have them, and like I say, I don't know what Sue has done through the years, whether she kept them upstairs in the files or not. I haven't been in those files for the last 7 or 8 years, since the last time I was chairman.
So we need to provide her with a special document.
We'll have to see where they are and get them to her. That way there.
I'll get it. Provide an RAT form to director. Because I don't want her to be held, if in fact that's all it is, I don't want her to be held up because a piece of paperwork wasn't filled out. I want it done right the first time,
Exactly.
so she can get it in a timely manner.
Yeah, and she's new on the job, so she
That's
doesn't.
what I'm saying.
She doesn't know the ins and outs of,
All right.
that's where the Board of Selectmen should help her out, but I don't know if they do or not. She should go.
I
to the
can't do
She
anything
should go
till-
to the executive secretary, is that what her title? Arena?
Yeah.
Is that her title? I don't even know what it is anymore.
Well, I can't do anything about it till Monday now because they're closed tomorrow, but I'll handle this and make sure she gets that form.
I'll stop in Monday and talk to her. You can do it too if you want, but.
Well, she just needs the form. I'll make sure she gets the form.
What I'll do is, I'll look upstairs, see if the forms are there. They gotta be in there. I don't know if she made copies of the forms or not.
We could do that tonight before we leave.
We'll have to go upstairs. You wanna go upstairs?
Not right now, but I will before we leave.
I'll wait for you.
So can
I'll
we-
go up with you anyway, so.
Okay. So can we look at any of these budgets tonight and see what we can clean up now? Because I'd like to start putting this information into the spreadsheet to be able to.
Probably sure.
Since we were actually on the Council of Aging, one thing that I
Well,
think.
usually we have the sewer commissioners.
Well, Lorena told me that she hasn't gotten everybody's budget yet either,
Uh, No,
and she's asked for it.
yeah.
ones you're gonna look at? Council on Aging, they wanna do that in a couple of weeks, so.
The agent. Okay. You wanna hold off on that? You got the building inspector. You got the planning board. The sewer, we don't wanna do because they should come in, because they're a big vote. So there's really not that many budgets. Let's look over the landfill budget. See if we need them to come in or if they don't wanna come in.
I think they should come in because what they have here is the,
Yeah, I know they made some changes, they dropped the operations by 5,000, engineering, they dropped 5,000, monitoring wells, they dropped 5,000,
That's
supplies, level. In leach shade, they dropped from 20,000 to 15,000.
Which, that one we know about. We know that they're gonna be dropping that leach aid every year. We were told that for the last 2 years. Eventually, it's not supposed to be in the budget at all as it gets older,
And did they give you an explanation?
because it empties. They gave us a 6 or a 7 year, they gave us a piece of paper last year, I'll try to find it, and it gave a 6-year plan. It started at like 40-something thousand, and it's been going less and less and less every year. And eventually that won't be a budget item for them. That's how they explained it to us, but I wasn't here for the project, so I can't offer any more than that.
And the only reason I'm saying there is, a few years back, we had a rainy season, and they deleted us out of our funds, where we had to go to special town meeting and get it all back, because we didn't have enough to finish the year off a few years ago because of leach shade. They were pumping it out almost every day.
Well, do you want them to come in and explain?
I think they should come in and do their budget. It's a big enough budget. They should come in. They should come in. I mean, they lowered their budget quite a bit from the looks of it, but you got the forest, sir. That's totally, yeah.
He hasn't changed it at all.
That's a little fun.
Do you need him to be in here?
Huh?
Do you need him to be here?
We don't need them for that one, we're level funded.
I don't think you need the forester in here. If you wanna ask any questions on the forester, you can ask him at the Board of Health.
Exactly. You don't have to make them come in twice.
So I think that there should be right there. I don't think you need the town accountant to come in, do you? %3 raise due to the contract. That's the only thing that went up there. She only has, what, 4 lines?
You got the trying to line these all up here. That's sewer. Sewer, the Board of Health, the sewer, that's your count.
Now, do you need Nancy to come in to talk about her budget, town clerk?
Where's the town clerk? I don't
He
have.
had them from the other day.
Huh?
He had them the other day. I'm looking for them too, every day.
Oh, they were in that, in this envelope here?
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to look at this envelope.
I went through them at home.
I've been busy over there.
We got a memorandum from the town clerk. Yeah, she said she's submitting her level funded budget. However, I would like to decrease my expense account from $3,730 to $2,730 and add the $1,000 to the registrar's for listing account. The reason for this request is the census mailing has increased, the street list books have increased, and I have a new board registrar who's passing over who has time to vote for this position. So she's taking 1,000 out of one line item and moving it to another line item, so,
Oh, is that the town clerk?
yeah.
I didn't, Barry, you shorted me because I don't see it in here.
It's there.
Where is it?
Here's a copy. Yeah.
Do you have two?
No, I just have the one.
It's in the brown, it's in that brown package.
It's in that packet there,
Should be
Okay.
towards the top, actually.
Here's the package.
yeah. It's in there somewhere. Look a little deeper.
Oh, you, town account. Okay, I got it.
So I looked through her budget, it's level funded.
Right.
Total, so you don't need to go through that, she doesn't have to come in, if she don't want to. And the next one is the accountant. From that last week, her salary has gone up, I don't know what the reason is.
That's a contract. Increase in their contract. She has it written there on the paper.
So, you can file that one,
Yep.
as level funded.
Yeah.
We'll vote on it later at a, or you can vote it tonight if you want, eliminate it.
Well, do we vote each one, or do we vote to accept the whole budget once it's been, once I got it in the spreadsheet?
Okay.
We did that last year, I believe.
Yeah. All right, no problem. I got a sheet here about the accounting budget. Okay, you got the town planner.
Wait a minute, I wanna get the, okay, planner, yep.
And And that is level funded, no change. That one was controversial last year, because they wanted to dump it.
Yeah. I'm sure it will be questioned again.
My personal feeling is, we're wasting money for what he's doing. I mean, he's running around doing solar panels, basically. That's all I can see what he's doing. And he's getting a pretty good salary there. So, I don't know, it's my opinion. I was never in favor of it anyway, but I wasn't on the board, so I had no vote on it. So,
Well, I guess the justification would be that he has,
it probably could be used, but they're not utilizing them the way they should be utilized.
well, but if he's in fact finding these solar projects to do and he's in charge of them and he's saving the town or bringing in tax money, I guess you could justify it that way and say that, you know,
Well, that's another program.
I don't know what he does.
Yeah.
So I can't say yes or no. I can just say that this is what he's submitted.
But I know he's roving around the country. To different towns, you read them in the paper. I know he worked for once in there for a while. I don't know if he still does or not.
He works
Of
for,
course,
he works for more than just us. He works
Right.
for 3 or 4 towns.
yeah. So he's getting a pretty hefty salary.
So are we putting the town planner away?
Well, it's level funded, so right now
Yeah.
what we're doing is looking at these for the level funding. And
Yeah.
if, I've got a pile that we don't have to have a person come. And I'm gonna start putting that into the spreadsheet,
Yeah.
right? Planning board,
Yeah. The planning board, there's a change in the salary.
Yeah.
now is that a step increase or is that a new person or what is that?
No, it's just, evidently she works 12.5 hours for the planning board. I won't name the individual that does, you know.
Is that Becky?
I know who it is. I personally don't like to get into people who run those jobs.
But I mean, is this a new position?
No.
Then why, oh, is this because of the extra couple of days at the end of the year?
Let me check the sheet over here.
Do you have a
Let me
memorandum?
check she's not a clerk. Sewer department, highway, plant.
Yeah, I don't see a memorandum with this one, so I don't.
1522, I don't know where that number comes in. Anyway. The only question I have on that is what her salary rate is, because she works for two departments, I believe, planning board and the building. Before she was on 3, which brought her over the 19 3/4 hours.
So do you want them to come in and explain this one?
Yeah, we could have her come. They can come in.
Who's the chair?
Well, she can come in for a planning board and, because it would be the same thing on the planning board where her salary would be.
It looks like she should be in grade 6 according to the sheet here, because it's 1554 and here it's 1553. I don't know why.
according to this, they're paying her 1522 times 12.5 hours times 52 equates 98.93. That's their figures, not mine.
Oh, down here it says clerical
And she got the
1553,
same
up here it's
thing
1522.
Yeah.
So they're off a penny each place.
Okay, the,
So,
yeah, well, it's 1523, ain't it?
yeah, it should be.
Oh, wait a minute, building planning. She evidently classify her as C3. And she got, you're right, she's at or 5 years,
Yeah.
evidently. So next year she's gonna get a step raise. So she works 14 hours. So she
So is that what that's all about? When that step ladder changes, that's why this is like this?
yeah.
So she's gonna get that automatic increase?
Yeah.
See, the
Be re-
wage
be-
classification goes from, okay, say we hired somebody today for a, well, say, well, they got clerk and secretary, they're all C2. So they would come in as a C2 clerical, and they would start off minimum at $12.41. 3 years later, they would get $12.72 unless they get a COLA.
Mm-hmm.
Then 6 years later, 3 years after the 3 years, 6 years anniversary, they go up to the next step, which is 1305.
Well, this person is at
1241.
1522.
So in other words, it takes them 20 years to get to the top of their grade,
Right.
which to me is ludicrous. I've been, when they made changes, I've been on a committee that changed it, but that's the way, they hired somebody, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I'm not sure when. It was after I was on the Board of Selectmen. And they hired somebody to set that classification chart. And it's been in effect probably 20 years. It seems to work all right, but to me, it's kind of ludicrous to reach the top. And I used to be like, where I worked at Monsanto, it would take you so many, yeah, but not 3 years at a time, it would be you know, increments till you reach the top. And then they changed it that the minute you get on the job, boom, you get the top rate. But anyway.
Well, do we need to see the planning board about this or not?
Yeah. Basically, it's up to them. As far as we're concerned, we don't need to call them in. I don't think so. It is, well, I don't know what this, well, let them call the shots. If we think we need them to come in, we'll let them know. The planning board's okay. The building inspector's got his stipend.
I think with these ones here, instead of being 1522, it should be, maybe it should be the 1553.
Yeah, I think so.
So therefore, these salaries would increase. All the ones that are
This basically tells me she had there's a step raise in this.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you look at the building inspector and just pick on that one, because we already went by these other ones. It's 1522, and now it's 1553, so that's an increase.
Well, you know what Lorena told me, that was that they were asking each department to do 2 columns. Because this proposed change in those steps is just a proposal. So in order to prepare for the meetings, we have to have both scenarios. That's why this looks this way.
Well, apparently then you should have the selectmen in here to tell you what the rates are, and they were supposed to be here and they're not here.
But what I'm saying is they want to see it both ways.
Well,
Would
And
it,
if it wasn't for Lorena letting me know that information, I would have never known that.
the way I read it,
what are you gonna propose in the book? You gonna propose the 1522 or the 1553?
No, at this point, I'm gonna put in everything probably but salaries, because until the Board of Selectmen, because it was
yeah, but this
him,
might be a,
he said that this was an item that would have to go on a special before town meeting. The last meeting we had with him when we were in this room, he said that would have to go to a special town meeting to change those salaries.
no.
I believe that's what he said.
I'm saying that's not right then. That should be done, any increases has to be done at the annual town meeting. That's what I'm saying, I'm not saying he didn't tell you that, I'm just saying that's not right, as far as I'm concerned, because my understanding.
So should we put the higher proposal into the budget, or should we put the
Well, you
low?
can put the higher proposal in there, but it has to be approved at the annual town meeting, not a special.
Well, it would anyway,
Yeah,
right?
but, yeah, you'd have to put it in at the town meeting.
All right, so for the planner, we're gonna use the 1553 sum, and for the inspector, we're gonna use the bottom figures. Was there any,
You'd have to do that
Well,
for
you
all.
went up,
well, for anyone that has a salary? Now, the accountant is left alone because she's got a 3% increase. That's a contract, I don't have to touch that.
no, well, that's,
My question would, it's only a penny difference, but according to this sheet here, to the other sheet, you got a penny difference.
what's that?
For this sheet here and what they have down here, there's a penny difference, so
Yeah, I see that,
you should calculate it at the 1554, if you're gonna calculate it.
What is the sheet you're looking at that's the
It's
discrepancy?
this sheet right here.
The step increase,
Yeah.
that would increase it by 52 cents.
Well, no, it would take it by, you would increase it by,
A week,
14,
52 cents a week.
you would increase it by 1 cent by 14 hours times 52.
14 cents a week.
Yeah, times 52.
I was doing it the other way. I was going by 52. I was adding,
No, you have to take it by the
I haven't
hours
been doing
and
arithmetic
then
a
by
long time,
the
so-
number of
can I
weeks.
see that rate chart, please?
you must have one.
You want a copy of it?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
You want me to make you a copy of it?
Yeah.
I just need to
Yes.
see it for a minute.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think, about that. No, you're right.
That's it.
Make copies for the,
It says here with the building inspector, 22615, resubmitted to the finance and Board of Selectmen with the proposed wage increase. And that's the bottom one here, so you basically have to change the figures there.
make, See, that's the classification, wage classification chart. And that'll change, if they give a COLA, it's gonna change anyways.
Yeah,
They're gonna drop one and increase the other. But I don't know if that, how it'll affect people with their step raises.
Wonder why that's off like that.
You know what I
That's kind
mean?
of odd. It's all off by a penny.
yeah, it is.
Okay, so,
You wanna make copies for yourself?
No, I got a copy. Barry, you sure you don't want a copy? Whenever you put these into your figures, that you can,
You got a copy?
well, I'm
Justin.
making my notes as I'm going, so it's okay.
okay.
So we'll change this one.
Yeah. Read that.
You have to change the other ones
You're on
too.
my wrong side, I'm not, I have to turn to see you.
You have to change all the other ones, Barry, too.
I'm going to. Okay, so let's see. So I've got 2 plannings. We don't need 2 plannings. Board of Health is all the same or not? No. There's a salary change there.
For the Board of Health,
Yeah.
Where did I put?
So why are they taking $600 away from the animal inspector and giving an increase to the health agent? Isn't Sarah our animal inspector? Do you have that, Ken?
Which one?
The Board of Health, BOH?
I had it, I don't know where that.
who is the appointed health agent?
I don't know.
It went from 4,000 to 5,100.
I don't know, I think that needs to be, that's an $1,100 increase.
Right. But they just moved figures around from, the visiting nurse, they took from $800 down to $300.
What visiting nurse?
Visiting nurse, which is right above the animal inspector.
Oh, I see.
Okay, and the animal inspector went from 1,500 down to 900.
Do you have it, Ken? No?
I had it, I don't know where they did it here. Landfill, building inspector.
Underneath that one.
And why would the salaries stay the same if they're not giving out stickers or anything else like that? They don't have that much more work to do. Board of Health Secretary went from 2014, went from 13,350, say, up to 16,700. Why? How much have they spent this year? And Secretary's the one that was handing out the stickers, wasn't she?
I'm surprised that the animal inspector fee would go down.
Well, that's what I said to you, it went from 1,500 down to 900, is that what it did? And, Board of Health, you go down Main Street there, you got,
Let's just look and see.
you got a house there with all junk outside. Why haven't they sent a certified letter to the absentee landlord, by what I understand? That's an absentee landlord. Weren't they doing something about that to clean it up? I understand that they cleaned it up and threw it over the back. But that really cleaned it up. I think it's a great job they did. Is it eventually gonna go into the creek or the river, whatever they got down there?
That's the Quabog.
Quabog River, sorry about
Not
that.
only you.
I didn't
Can't you
want,
see it? The queen of the Quabog.
I didn't want to call it a creek. Sorry about that, I apologize.
And that also Cummins Pond goes in there.
And I understand that there's some other parts of town that the highway department had to go and pick up some of the junk alongside the road in front of somebody's house or something, I don't know.
Either that or hit it with a plow.
They should send the guy a certified letter and give him a time frame to clean it up. If not, clean it up and put an attachment on the property.
Now, the health agent amount of money that's there is how much?
They're proposing 5,000, but they have 4,000.
The health agent,
Oh, actually, that's for 2016.
the health agent, they're proposing $5,100.
Well, the
An
visiting
increase of
nurse,
$1,100.
the visiting nurse to date,
Visiting nurse went down.
well, they haven't used any as of 2/10/2015. They haven't spent that line at all.
How about the appointed health agent? What's that?
Is that $4,000 originally?
Yeah,
They've spent 30% of their budget so far.
I should bring my calculator and do these. What was the what's the figure there for that? The health agent. Barry,
Hold on.
what's the dollar value?
It's $800 for the health agent.
$800, how many months? You got,
The 511 health
Okay.
visiting nurse is $800, of which none has been spent.
oh, that's a February?
As of February
The end of February?
10th.
Will it be the end of January, right?
This report was printed on February 10th.
Yeah, but it could have been printed on the 10th, but it
This
was
is-
probably the
this is-
figures for the end of
January.
January.
Last payroll.
Huh?
That was in the last payroll.
We probably, okay, so you got July, August, September, October, November, December, January, 7 months.
We need the Board of Health anyways.
If you take that, you're spending roughly $111 a month, roughly. And if you annualize that, that's if you annualize that, it would only be $1,332. Why did they increase it to $5,100? Right?
Good question.
That's Steve's question, not mine. I want you to know that Steve brought this up, not me. You know, all you gotta do is take what they got and then annualize it and see what they would spend. And if it doesn't come up to the figure that they got there, the question would be why? I'm in agreement with Steve. I think that's good. Good thinking, Steve.
Yeah, well, thanks for the math.
Well,
So, you know, I don't,
you can ask that question to the Board of Health when they show up.
well, at that time, we'd have a new figure. All right, let me ask you a question. On the sheets that you're going to input these onto, look at these sheets there. Okay, the one that says like the Board of Health or the building inspector or anything like that. Could you put down what they actually have spent to date on any of these things?
Yeah, it's a column that we used last year, but it gets upgraded every 2 weeks because it's only gonna get upgraded just before that meeting. Just before it goes to print, it'll be upgraded one more time. So you'll get one for March, one for April, and then the meeting's in May.
But
You're gonna get an actual, you'll get a.
What I'm saying is there a column on your thing that you can put actually spent to date? Okay. Does that answer your question, Steve? Huh?
Not for it.
You know, if you have a question, you can always go to the accountant, she'll give it to you.
Oh, yeah, I know.
See, even like the animal inspector salary on that line,
I don't know, they got it a little screwed up.
they've got her at $1,500 for the year, but she's used 26% of that salary to date. So that's not even half, and we're here 7 months into the year. So why is it not being used? And is that why they've reduced it? You know, he may have looked at his budget and said, well, I'm not using that, so I'm gonna transfer it into something else.
Well, if you transfer it into something else, that there's not level funding.
Well, level funding wasn't really defined by anybody.
Well,
Level funding could mean a lot of things to a lot of different people, and from what I've gotten out of this building, several people think that level funding is something totally different than what we think it is.
Well, your level funding may be the end total amount. My level funding is by line item.
Exactly.
And I think I'm right because I said it. And Steve made me say it. I'm moving my mouth, but Steve is a ventriloquist in saying this. Okay, these would probably be questions that you have to bring up to the Board of Health.
All right, so we're gonna ask the Board of Health to come in.
Yeah.
Well, we asked them all to come in, basically, but we're not requiring the ones we just discussed.
That's what I'm
Small
saying.
items, they don't have to come in if they don't want to. If they want to come in, they can come in. I mean, that's their prerogative, but we're not requiring them to come in.
But we're requiring Board of Health to come in, and we're requiring Planning Board to come in.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are the only two so far?
And the land, he's gotta talk to us about the land for the,
The sewer department, Board of Health, and the forester, he'll be here with
He'll be-
the Board of Health. And,
so the sewer has to come in.
Yeah. Barry, can
And so what is the?
can I ask you to do something, after Kenny schedules the people to come in? Like say the Board of Health is going to come in, say on the 7th of the month, I'm sorry, say on the 21st of the month,
Yeah.
could you give us on the 14th of the month what they have spent to date?
Yes, I could do that right now if you wanted me to.
Well, no, I'm
Because
just,
I'll only have this for this next month.
okay,
And then
So-
at the beginning of April, I'll have a new one. So I'm only gonna get this once a month. So I can sit here and you can say to me, what is this item and how much have they spent, and I can tell you.
okay. Well, my question would be, you say you have a spot on the sheet that you can put what they spent to date.
Yeah, but I won't be
I-
doing that until we do our final vote.
Oh, well,
But I can give you,
I
I
think-
can give you items as to what they've spent to date when they're here, so that we can ask them right up front. You know, you've only spent 27% of your budget, it's 8 months in, why?
well, I would prefer to have it, if they're coming in on the 21st, to have it on the 14th. Have those figures so we could slot them in. Okay, and then look them over before we come in here, rather than to have it the same night. Hey, you spent X number of dollars so far. I'd like to have a little bit of time to look at it. The same way with the school, as I said before, I'd like to have the school budget like about 2 weeks or so beforehand. Because what they do is they come in with their book and boom, that night. I've brought it up to Brett a couple of times to bring it in prior, give it to us prior so we have time to look at it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna go through a book like this and say, yeah, I agree with it right off the bat. I would just renege and not vote for it. So would that be okay with you?
If I have time to do it. That's an
Well,
extraordinarily amount,
I'll
that's a good amount of time to do that.
I'll tell you what, instead of putting it there, why don't you just, like, give it to us and we can write it down? How's that? You don't have to put it into the computer,
That's fine.
okay?
I think so. You got most of it.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, Kenny, you're in charge, not me. So,
What's going on with Council on Aging?
I don't know, he seems to say,
well,
I mean, this isn't even a completed budget, so what's going on?
the Council on Aging, as I said prior, what they wanna do is, some people that are on vacation, okay, I don't know whether they're new down there or what, but, they wanna come in and, see basically what everything is about, the budget and the questions and stuff like that. Just in case if they can answer any of the questions or they want to learn something about it, I don't know, I didn't ask that question. All I did is got a request from them to defer them coming in until they come back from vacation. I'm just passing it on. I think where they requested it, and you have other departments, we should take into consideration their request and not bring them in until after they come back. I think it's only fair to them.
The only thing I was wondering on that budget, which we just kind of glanced over, was they had a $5,000 increase in there for a new convection oven. Was that something that would be generally in an expense?
Oh, $5,000?
Yeah.
That $5,000 should probably go into capital planning,
Yeah.
because that's a item that is $5,000 and it should have a useful life more than 3 years.
So maybe we should make them aware of that sooner rather than later.
I would think that would be a question that we can tell them that really doesn't belong in there.
Okay.
Where's that at?
That's it, on the cost, if you look at, right down here in the notes, they have that. And
Okay,
you'll
I
notice
see
there's
it,
a
I
large
see it, yep.
increase on the second line item.
Okay, I think that should be a capital planning item,
Yeah.
not a budgetary item. Anybody disagree with that?
Doesn't that go to the vote?
Why?
Doesn't that go to vote?
What?
At a town meeting or something?
Yeah,
That's what I was
it
thinking.
would be put on as an article. I didn't read any of the things,
Yeah, but
because
council on aging.
I thought that we would defer them off to
They
to
went from
another time,
17,000.
so.
I was just thinking.
Why
if we
waste
were
my
gonna-
time reading it if I don't have to?
It's a big increase.
I was just thinking, we're gonna give her that red anyway.
Yeah, but they're not
Give her that
explaining
red
what
anyway
that's for.
Well,
To change that.
Well,
I don't think that's.
lunch coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, but
That's my opinion.
council on
Yeah.
aging expense went up
Yeah, I know
7,000.
that.
So that's
To
not a
operate the
salary.
building.
Yeah,
It could be electrical, utilities,
so we need to know what that's for.
yeah.
Maintenance went up 3,500.
Okay, could we do this? Could we put the ones that we're, don't have to call into a file, and the ones that we're gonna call into another file?
So-
You got them broken out over there, Barry. Which ones are we not having come in?
Planning,
Oh, wait a minute, let me get my
We're not
planner.
gonna
The
require
planner?
them.
but we're not requiring them to come in.
They can
The
come in, but we're not
planner?
requiring them.
Planning, building inspector,
Oh, wait a minute, planning, yep. Building
Planner.
inspector. Planner, okay.
forestry,
Where the hell is forestry? Forestry, yep.
accountant,
Accountant, yep.
clerk,
Huh?
clerk.
Well, anyways, the forester, he'd be in with the board of health anyways. You can always, if you have a question, you can
Down
always
clerk.
ask.
Okay.
And you'll have two hats instead of one.
And so far I have to call in Board of Health, Planning Board, Sewer,
I
and
thought, wait a minute, I thought you said the planning board you weren't gonna call in.
well, only if you wanted to talk to them about this expense for their
The salary.
salary. Why was the salary increased? Is this a step? But if after
Oh,
they,
okay, okay, you wanna bring them in? Fine.
well,
Oh.
but if it's like the other clerical ones, it sounds like there's 5 or 6 people that are all getting the same increase at the same time.
Yeah.
So we don't have to call them in for that, if somebody can justify that for me.
Well, as I understand it, okay, the member of the board of selectmen was supposed to be here, and they can answer that question.
I'll ask Lorena.
I gotta talk to her anyway.
Okay, so what are we gonna do with the planning board? Not do anything
Just
with,
keep it, yeah.
okay.
Now, I've got another, the last one I have is insurance. Does anybody have that paper?
Insurance?
I did see it.
No, I don't have it.
I don't remember seeing
Building
it.
inspector,
I remember
I'm sorry,
seeing it.
building inspector. said
Inspector,
insurance.
INS, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, we got the building inspector.
He went up because of that same clerical increase too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he has the same person as the planning board.
right, so we don't have to,
Although it does have that 1522 on my copy, so that's probably gonna go up, right? to the
I've changed it here
Have
too,
you?
so I'll change them all.
Yeah,
But again, I don't know if the selectmen in fact are going to do that for the town meeting, I'm hoping that, I mean, Lorena told me yesterday that I have to have all my information in for the book for the vote. That book has to be printed for the vote. So I need to make sure that they make a decision one way or the other. Now, that meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, I believe.
Is it?
For Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen to sit and talk about how they're gonna handle that step increase thing. Did any of you get?
I didn't get any.
She talked with me about it yesterday, but I never saw.
No.
Did you get it in your paperwork? She was supposed to send us an
I
invitation.
didn't get
No.
any.
I'll double check.
When
That was in.
when is that? Tomorrow?
This Tuesday, Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday, I'm sorry.
Because I didn't receive anything.
The only thing I read came from the Board of Selectmen is the wage classification pertaining to salaries.
Okay, where we have these split out, can we figure out who we're going to call in next week?
I've got it, Board of Health, oh, for next week?
Okay. Kenny, who are we gonna call in next week?
Could do the Board of Health.
Next week?
Since I had so many questions for you. Can we find out who we're gonna call in?
Well, Board of Health is Ken Lacy,
Yep.
so I'll send him an email.
And that would do the landfill as well, right?
That would,
And you want him to come in for March, what is that date? You've got calendars in front of you.
Which
The third.
Monday,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Monday is the 2nd, the 9th, the 16th,
Yeah, but
23rd.
we're on Thursdays, Ken.
Yeah, I
the
know,
5th would
but I'm
be
just
Thursday.
saying, that's all
Oh.
the weeks.
it would be the 5th.
Thursday's the 5th, 12th, 19th, 26th.
All right, and then, you want to give the Council on Aging another week, or do you want to have Seward come in?
Well, I'll tell you what, the sewer would probably take a little bit long. If you're gonna have the Board of Health in,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you should have the landfill in at the same time, because that's part of the Board of Health.
Right, I have that.
Okay, and do you wanna have the forester in? Forester will be
Well, he'll
there
be
with
there.
the.
He'll be there anyway, so all his budgets can be looked at the same time.
Okay, with these three, okay, could you give us the amount that they have spent to date?
Okay,
Which one you gonna start with?
you want to do it right now?
Yeah, so I can write them in here so we can look them over for next
Okay,
week.
so let's see.
You want the forester, the land, or the Board of Health?
Let's see if this is a little bit more updated. This is the 25th. Ken, when did you take this out of the, when did you take this stuff out of the box in there? Today?
Yeah. Tonight,
You say you have one there for the 25th?
Yeah. All right, so which one are we looking at first?
Let's go with Board of Health.
Okay, so,
I have to have numbers, so hold on. Give me time, please.
so February 25th would be like for, what, 7 months and 3 weeks or something like that? Is that true? Everybody agrees to 7 months, 3 weeks?
Where's-
Yep. 7 3/4.
7 3/4. 7 3/4.
Is that right?
August,
Knocked out.
September, October, November, December, January, February, would be 7, oh, actually, I'm sorry, it would be 6 3/4.
Right.
6 3/4.
Because they've used 50% of their salary, so that would make it 6 months for this report.
6 3/4, okay?
So for line 510, the 2250, they've used 50%.
What's the dollar value? I don't wanna do the math. You got the figures right there.
1125,
1125,
yeah.
okay. That's for the Board of Health salaries. How about the secretary?
$9,054.
9,054,
Yep.
okay.
The next one, they've used 450.
450,
Yeah.
okay. Visiting nurse,
Nothing, right?
They've used 0.
okay. Animal inspector,
What did they put her under?
It's 249, is the
Yeah.
account number there?
Yeah.
no, paperclip, I just had it.
I wonder why they changed that.
Shuffle the papers.
466 has been spent to date.
For what?
For the
Animal
inspector.
inspector,
466?
69.
469?
466, 69.
I see. Thank you.
466, that would be 467.
And then, let's see, health agent. $1683.75.
16,
83.75.
1684. Okay.
Vaccines, they've used none.
Okay. It's as of February 25th.
Cummins Pond testing, they've used 560.
560.
And then rabies control, they use 0.
Okay. Then the next one we have is the landfill, or do you want to do the forester?
Do land.
one other question on these numbers, just for clarification on my part. That's the amount that's been spent so far, or the balance in the account?
No, it's spent
That's
today.
spent today.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Don't you remember that?
Well, I was using the column. I just want to make sure I.
Don't you remember that was the question you asked?
Yeah. It's late.
Okay, where are we going next, Barry?
I'm looking for the landfill, but it's not numbered,
I don't
so.
see any numbers there.
I wonder if it's a, I have the tree department, we can do that one while I've got it in front of
Okay, the
me.
forester?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We've spent $3,500 for the salary.
3,500?
We've
Okay.
spent $12,701 for purchase services.
That's for the pesticides?
Purchased services.
For the forester?
Is that account 294?
294, yeah.
Huh.
What's it say he has for a budget, 15,000?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that then?
12,701, right? 12,701.
Pesticides and herbicides, he's used 0. And then, do you have something that says, maintenance flood protection work?
No,
No.
we have 3 line items.
Just 3? Did I give you 3?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have forester, forestry, and pesticide. So that one, forestry, you would call purchase services, right? Was it?
Purchase services is 500.
Oh,
It's 294, but it's been 0 been used.
okay.
All right, let's see if we can find,
Okay, so now we have just the landfill.
you know what, it's not coming up in here.
For the info? Well, since there aren't any actual numbers on here, I wonder if it's kept separately somehow? Is that possible? I mean, I don't know how they keep their books
What?
about. See how all the others have the notation of the account number? There's no notation here. So I'm, and also,
Well, is this all controlled by the company that we've contracted?
I'm not sure. That could be, that's what I'm wondering, if maybe it's kept separately rather than in that account ledger.
I have no idea.
Because it is kind of peculiar that all of the rest have account numbers, this set doesn't.
And that doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, the sewer department doesn't either, and that's probably another one with.
That, they
rely-
account for themselves.
Yes, so that's probably what it is.
Yeah, it's not in here.
That might be something we'd have to request from them. Yeah.
Well, in that case, yeah.
Or maybe the Board of Health itself may have figures on that, I'm not sure.
So there's no figures there for the landfill?
Not in this ledger.
Okay. Whenever you ask them to come in, could you ask them to give us the amount that they have spent to date as of February 25th? Ledger runoff.
Okay.
Or if they even have it for the 7 months, that would be even better.
And by then I can ask some questions about where this budget actually is, who's accounting for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to still go through Madeline. I'm
Yeah, it
assuming.
does.
So. Okay. Oh, wait a minute, we have it.
Fine.
Is it in this other thing? Okay.
Let's see what this is all about. Here's the sewer. I think you've each got one of these. This is the sewer. And here's the landfill. That was in my brown packet, so
Okay, so what's the figures for the landfill then?
here, let me just make you copies of these. You can each have one.
So where these come from,
I think they may have came from the state, yeah, Boston.
did you look it over yet? Or?
No, I haven't. I've been, past a couple of weeks, I've been busy,
Yeah,
almost straight out.
yeah.
Oh, the thing also that we should ask Barry if he got any stuff from Stephanie.
Ready to turn it over to him?
Yeah. You can ask that question, okay, Steve? You'll be in charge of that. I know that I tried to get some answers from her. She hasn't replied to anything.
Yeah.
You know, which I thought was rather strange, because she could say, yeah, I have it, come pick it up, or, you know,
Yeah.
no, I haven't got it,
Mm.
but here's where to get it.
Yeah.
Or I haven't got it and I don't know where it's at. I think that covered just about all the
All the
bases.
options. How was the special town meeting?
It went rather quickly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that didn't sound like too dramatic.
They had the thing there for the
Highway,
highway department,
that went through, right?
yeah. By one vote.
Right.
You had to put it in the ballot. It'd be good to have, you know, the board of selectmen be in charge of it, so you have one person to go after. I know that at one time, you know, where it was an elected position, I was talking to, I think with Bob Sousa at one time, I says, could you ask Gary to do something? He says, I can't get him to do anything. You have just as much pull with him as I do.
Yeah,
So, you know, you have somebody that's elected, you can't have no control.
yeah. There was someone who was explaining to me too that if they have wanted to say, seek a time or something like that, they would need to qualify them if they had been under control of the departments and stuff, so. Thank you.
landfill operation. It's been 23,000, $23,333.
Well, that's in the leachate?
Engineering, $7,003.
So that's why
They're
he's
adjusting
changed
down.
his,
Yeah.
he's just dropping it because evidently he doesn't feel he's using it.
Jesus.
But, you know, to the point I've heard on this board since I've been on it, are we dropping these figures wisely? Is he doing it for the right reason? Are we gonna get caught in 2 years having to raise it or double it because of something that's unexpected? You know, it's great to give in a budget that's smaller. We're all for that. But are we gonna get caught later on? I mean, this money is gonna go back into the general fund, if not spent.
Okay, didn't they have something there about the capping too? Don't they have a problem there with capping?
That's what it was implied at the town meeting. And Dave Delansky did allude to that at our last meeting here, that there were trees going through some cover or something on the landfill, on an old part of the landfill. So it seems to me, and he did say, I think, that he would like a member of the finance committee to be at a meeting when they looked at it, but I haven't heard any more about it. And I don't think they can look at it while there's 4 feet of snow on the ground, so.
They can?
No, I don't think we'll be looking at that anytime soon.
You don't have x-ray vision like Superman?
I have many talents, but that's not one of them.
It's not one of them.
Might require dig safe permission to get to the site.
Okay, so is there any other things that we have to cover tonight? Mr. Chairman?
Not really,
Not really?
no. We're gonna have to charge. We're gonna have to get these people moving. Evidently, nobody's moving. We don't have all the budgets in. We don't have the police department, we don't have the fire department.
Who's gonna check with, the
We
renters?
don't have the school department. And those are the biggest,
So the school department, as I understand it, just went through their budgets either a couple of weeks ago or something like that.
Well, evidently there was a meeting on Tuesday, but I didn't get the invite till Friday, so.
Yeah, I just got it now.
we had a luncheon meeting, so to speak.
But before Stephanie
So
left,
it's too bad that we didn't get it sooner, so at least one person was there
Could
to
go, yeah.
represent. Because if West Brookfield was there and we weren't there, it doesn't look good.
well, like I said, I didn't know about it
So I
till.
didn't know about it either.
Actually, we should probably call that to the attention of the
And
select.
that's what happened when we changed
Why-
chairman
why-
twice
why would
in
it-
2
Why
months.
would you do it to the selectmen if the school?
Because it came from the selectmen.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Lorena
think that's
gave
what
it
was
to me on
addressed, yeah.
Friday of last week for this
On the
Tuesday coming.
23rd.
There was actually a couple of things that I noticed in here that we didn't receive, and you've kind of alluded to some other information that maybe we could have had in a timely manner, so maybe we should call that to their attention, that we're not getting things. in a
Well,
timely
it may have been in that box, but we haven't had any quorums and we haven't had, you know,
manner.
we're in a stage of flux right now, and I'm trying to get caught up with the email even that hasn't been read
Yeah.
for some months. So there's quite a bit that hasn't been done.
Yeah.
And the other issue with the school is that Stephanie was the person that was going to be going to the meetings.
That was a memo that was in there for the school.
I got that one, yeah, tonight, yeah.
Uh,
So I think, you know, if we
So we all get blindsided, so to speak.
we need to go to
So I'm
those
gonna have to
meetings.
be more aggressive and let the board of selectmen that we're here. We're not just a fixer.
No.
And that's the way it's starting to look like. We just something that's rubber stamping, whatever.
Well, tonight, I'll have official minutes to review next week. And the last meeting that we had, I did notes, and I'll hand that out as well, but they're not really minutes since it wasn't a quorum and it wasn't an official
No, it
meeting.
wasn't.
But I'm gonna hand them out as notes from what we discussed, because Dave was here and there were several things that were discussed.
Monday, I'll probably go see the secretary Monday and let her know where we're coming from, because Sue did it one way, I may do it a different way.
I do know that she sent out emails to the various departments to say she
Yeah,
needed
I
to
just wanna
have
know
them.
what she's done and what they expect that comes through this office to us.
Pretty much what our responsibility is to get that report ready for the vote.
Yeah.
That's our responsibility, and we have to vote on that.
Exactly. I mean,
But you can't do much more than what you can do until
Well,
people
you
start
don't-
showing up.
and you don't have any figures to go with. The only figures we have to go with is, we requested that level funded, and we can take that from last year's book and pretty much set your budget book up accordingly.
Well, I need
Which
to
we may
meet,
have to do, except the school department and the police department, fire department.
well, I know that I have to meet with Madeline, because she had said to me that there are certain things with the police budget that are being changed. The way they're recorded in the budget book. So I'm hopefully gonna see her on Tuesday and go through what I have to change in that spreadsheet, because they are definitely gonna change.
Yeah, something was in there from the town clerk, I think, had something in there pertaining to the police department.
Okay,
They're changing the names of the line items, so to
Right.
speak.
Right.
so what you're saying is, March 3rd at the selectmen's meeting, they want us to be there?
As far as I know, there's a meeting on March 3rd. I think she said it was in the afternoon. But she
Oh.
said she was supposed to be sending us paperwork or an invite or something, and I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, who's gonna find that out?
But I'll find out Monday.
I have the answer here.
Oh, you
Oh.
do?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Today on the town's website at 3:13 PM, the town clerk posted at 6 PM on Tuesday, March 3rd. It says, "Work meeting with Finance Committee board members, fiscal year 2016 budget discussion." So it's Tuesday the 3rd at 6 PM.
So it's just before,
Okay,
it's
so
before the
it's,
selectmen.
Correct, and then there's a
I'm
regular
Monday and
selectmen's,
Monday.
Monday at 6, Tuesday, 6 PM.
Board of Selectmen.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
3/3/15, 1,800 hours?
Correct. And then at 7 PM is a regular Board of Selectmen's meeting, so I guess they're allotting an hour for that.
Okay, that's the time that we can bring up about those hourly rates. I probably wouldn't do anything, Barry, with it until we talk to them about it. We're gonna have those three departments that you read off the total to date. Kenny, you going to get with the other departments and find out where their budgets are?
I'm gonna see the secretary Monday.
Okay, and then you're going to set up for the,
I'm gonna find out where they're coming from. you said they're having a meeting Monday then, huh?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Geez, if they have it Monday, I
We got the
won't be here,
wrong
I gotta be in Walpole then.
But we set the date for the Board of Health for March 5th. What about
March
the
5th.
What about the sewer and the housing?
Well,
Should we just do them in order each week? Just have one of those boards come in? I
Well,
mean, it's not gonna take Board of Health a whole 2 hours to go through their budget.
no, usually they set up what days you wanna come in. Then we contact them to come in on those days.
I
I'm
think-
sure that's what Sue used to do.
I think what we did is we said, you know, ask the various departments to come in, then if they couldn't make it, then we just tried to switch them around.
Okay,
Usually we have, in the past, last year was a little screwed up too, that we'd have maybe 4 budgets come in. Every
And-
Thursday, we'd meet every Thursday, we'd have 4 people that signed up, 4 groups, or 5. If they're small ones, we have a whole bunch of them. And we in the past, we used to let them make their decisions when they want to be here. In other words, we would know when they're gonna be here, when they sign up. When they submit their budget, they should have a sign up picked up what day they want to. Theoretically, we're meeting every
well,
Thursday.
it's too late to do that now because they've all submitted budgets
Yeah,
except for
but we
Randy's.
haven't got all the budgets, so we're gonna have to start pounding at them. If they don't put it in, we'll just level fund them. We'll just notify them that we'll level fund their budgets and let it go at that.
See, that's what I'm assuming is going on, is if they're sending in this paperwork, that's what they want.
Yeah.
And the questions that were raised tonight, we're calling those people, and the others, we didn't seem to have a question,
Yeah.
so. All right,
Well, I think if I was one of those departments and you level funded me and you didn't set up a time for me to come in, I'd be very ticked off. Police, fire, highway department, or whatever. So you have to get those and find out when you want to schedule. You could get those on the, prior to the 5th, and then on the night of the 5th, schedule the people that you want to come in on the 12th.
well, that's what I'm asking you, do you want me just put an email to the sewer and say come in on March 12th, and an email to the housing and say come in on March 19th, and just tell them those are the dates we want to see them?
Let me get back to you. I'll get back to you Monday night.
Because I've got the police, I've got
Yeah,
the
police,
fire.
Fire, and the highway.
So what's
then you
the
have
good
the
time to
school.
call you?
Highway and
Libraries.
school,
The libraries.
library. Trying to think of the people we saw. That's just about it.
So, Barry, let me ask you this question. Once you schedule these people, you have to kind of back it up to when you have to have that book done? The finance committee book? So you'd have to make sure that you leave yourself enough time from the last one, say in April, say
We
April
didn't get any
23rd,
bids on that,
to
did we?
get it to the
Well,
printer.
we're
It's
gonna
not
go
out to
through-
bid yet.
Huh?
It's not out to bid yet. Lorena just did hers this week.
That's another issue that's tight.
Who'd they get for a printer?
It's 14 pages plus a cover. So,
They usually charge, what, $10, $11 a sheet?
let's see what we spent.
Are you gonna put them on 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, or are you going to have
Go
it
back to
in
the old
small?
style.
Huh?
Go back to the small one?
Or do you wanna make it in that small book so you have to have a microphone?
Magnifying glass.
Yeah, magnifying glass.
So far, all we've spent on is the new book. So we've got $845 left to be able to do that printing, and that's what it's gonna
We
come
might as well
to.
stay with might as well stay with that.
That's what it's gonna
Who
be.
was it,
That way there,
No,
Robert?
it was somebody that Sue had gotten a quote from. And I don't know how many copies we have made either.
I'll check with Nancy how many she's got
Well,
left.
you could find out from Madeline what the invoice said.
No, she'll know how many she's got left. If she got,
Yeah, but we don't know how many we
Yeah, but
started with.
it doesn't matter whether you have 100 left, you gotta find out how many you actually printed up.
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, do we need 500, 1,000, 2,000, 1,500, 1,400?
Well, Lorena
That's what I'm getting at.
Lorena said she's gonna have 500 copies of the town report.
But
She's
see
going
that-
up because she needs more this year for, I can't remember the reason, but she needed a few more.
Who's gonna go out looking for the quote for the book, for our book?
Well, let's get the information first. You know, and we'll worry about that later. I mean, that's not gonna be difficult to do that. I think, you know, we've got enough printers in the area. I don't know why we just don't use the trade school, frankly.
What's that?
I don't know why we don't use the trade school, you know, Pathfinder, if they have some kind of a printing operation there. There are school, you know, we send our kids there, why don't we bring it up to Quabog and have them do it? Although there might be a little conflict of interest bringing it up there.
Yeah, it's getting complicated. For the amount of money we spend there, I wouldn't worry about it. Not $1,000. I see money thrown down the drain much more than that, so I wouldn't worry about that.
You know, we've got Staples in the area
You
now.
know,
I should go, I should just go there for a quote and see what they, you know, what they'll charge too. But I like to give local people. And the only one I really know is Turley and Roberts.
Yeah, that's
Palmer.
right.
Yeah.
But I do know that maybe it was in Charlton or Oxford or someplace where Sue went. So I'll just email her and ask her who that printer was.
And that
Is
meeting,
it- is-
you say is on the 23rd or the 24th,
But
What meeting?
Board of Selectmen.
It's,
No,
it's
it's
the
in
third,
March.
March
Oh,
3rd.
March.
You're looking at
Yeah,
February.
March
If you
3rd
look at
at
the
6
little one
p.m.
I
Yeah.
know, but I'm just,
It's next Tuesday, before the
Okay.
selectmen meeting.
Correct.
Yeah.
6 o'clock for 1,800
Next
dollars.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
Barry,
the
did
3rd.
you,
Yep.
did you
Yep.
get any stuff from
Any meeting in
Stephanie
the
or
afternoon?
anything?
Well, I'm
6
gonna,
p.m.
I'm
I
gonna
got
be up
an
here
email from her,
Monday.
she said she'll
Yeah.
come to a meeting
I
and
ain't
hand
gonna
off
worry
stuff to
about
us.
Place is closed,
Yeah.
I
place is closed, I'm closed.
Yeah.
called her 2 or 3 times, she didn't
I'm not
return my
gonna
phone
worry.
calls, and I
Yeah.
just says, hey, the
We
heck
did
with
the
it,
best
I'm
we
not
can
gonna
with what
bother.
we have.
Well, she sent me an email, she said she
And if
would
somebody
try to
thinks
stop
they can
into
do
one
it
of our
better,
meetings to hand us
You're
out
welcome to.
the paperwork she has.
They can have it, they can have it, right?
I didn't anticipate this.
Oh,
No,
be
I
nice,
imagine, yeah.
I'll keep my mouth shut. Won't say anything.
Are we done?
I don't think we have anything else to discuss. We'll be here the 3rd. Off the record, we can discuss.
The 3rd, the
Third.
5th,
We won't be posted.
We need to
Oh,
be posted.
you need to be posted.
It's too late
For what?
for Tuesday.
No,
That's
the
a
select,
work-
the
isn't that-
selectmen should have posted
no, the
that.
selectmen posted it already.
Yeah.
And it says work meeting with finance
It's a
committee.
work meeting and it's posted, but the Thursday after that, we have to, you need to check with town clerk to see how many meetings Stephanie had already posted.
Quinta, she told me with thereafter, but how far into the next month?
I think it says on the front here, and I think it did go for the rest of the year, I think, if I remember.
I think Stephanie said she was gonna do the whole finance season
Yeah.
for us every Thursday, because we had talked about doing every Thursday up until the meeting.
We can check on the way out, because I remember seeing it.
I'll check that Monday.
But to his point, they have to be posted in
Yeah.
a timely fashion.
Yeah,
Don't you have to say who's coming in too?
the agenda.
Well, we try to put an agenda on.
I'll talk to the town clerk. You're supposed to have the new regulations, since I used to post it, is that you have to state what you're gonna bring up at the
The
meeting.
business.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that was being done.
probably not.
Can't you say that you have the Board of Health in and miscellaneous, other topics?
It's other business.
Well,
That leaves the door open for
Well,
anything.
well, when we used to post it there, we used to put there and then old business, new business. So you bring up something that's new business.
Well, under the heading
I know
for
it
the,
is.
it gives you a place to put a PDF with what you're gonna discuss.
Yeah.
So,
What you're supposed to have on the agenda. Matter of fact, we don't have an agenda per se tonight, outside of discussing budgets.
right.
That's the only thing we're discussing is budgets. That's all we're gonna basically discuss is budgets.
There is,
That's a one item.
there is actually already an agenda for next Thursday, the 5th and the 12th.
Okay.
That's just the standard one that Stephanie wrote, you know, that says this, whatever it is.
What does it say for the 5th and the 12th? Anything other than just the Finance Committee?
It just says, yeah, I have poor cell service in here, so I can't download the agenda. But there is an agenda, I'm on the
Yeah.
town's calendar.
Thank you.
I know she has she's there put down day of meeting where and what's gonna be discussed on the agenda.
Don't you have to amend it to say that the Board of Health is coming in on the 5th? Or something like that? I don't know.
Well, we don't know that they're coming. We're asking them to come.
Well, they're invited to come.
Well, if, you know, we still have to do that the right way.
I suppose you could redefine it, that the, who's coming in and what budget's going to discuss. You could break it down to that low level.
Yeah.
Or we could keep it broad, that we're discussing budgets.
But a citizen may want to know when the Board of Health is here. Who knows why they'd come, but they may want
could
to,
be
so you
somebody
have to
wanna
let them
pick-
know who's coming. So for
Well,
next,
we'll try to fine tune it in the
well,
next
to
few
that
months.
point then, if next Thursday, do we have enough, we don't have enough time to post what the agenda is for next Thursday? Or do we?
No, you
Sure,
can't.
do 48
Can we
hours.
still post the agenda?
Monday, Tuesday's the latest, I believe,
Correct.
or Thursday.
Yeah, it's
48
before
hours.
48 hours in advance of the meeting, correct.
So
They haven't
Tuesday.
changed that.
Yeah.
They haven't decreased it, they haven't increased it.
So I'll try to make a phone call actually, or I'll come down here and see if somebody's in that office to see if they can come, if she can get him a message to Ken Lacy.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm gonna have to go to the Board of Health office.
Oh, I don't even know. Monday I'm gonna show up here. I'm gonna spend some time here Monday. I gotta reclaim my job.
But by what I understand,
I haven't done it
Board of
in-
Health isn't open too often.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I hear. I don't know whether it's a true statement or not. The Board of Health doesn't really keep regular hours.
Well, the secretary's there.
That's not what I hear.
Well, every time I've been in here, she's been in her office. But I come in the morning.
Some people have come in the afternoon.
Well,
Lamont Cranston's in charge, the shadow.
Are we done?
Okay?
yeah. We don't
Adjourned?
have any more business to to discuss, I waive the motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.